9 questions to ask before retiring. The concept of retirement tends to conjure up thoughts of warm days spent lounging by the pool and engaging in activities with one's grandchildren. It is the moment when you can finally do everything you want, whenever you want to do it. The good news is that many individuals can accomplish this notion of independence, given that they are financially prepared to retire. The unfortunate reality is that many individuals will never be able to retire without worrying about their financial well-being, either because they failed to prepare for retirement adequately or just had terrible luck. Before you settle into retirement, there are several things you need to think about. Number 1, estimate your monthly costs. When calculating your monthly costs, you need to be sure that you are being completely honest with yourself and taking into account any false accounting. If you don't, you risk suffering from anxiety and sadness in the future while you're enjoying your retirement years. You'll have a better idea of how much you need to put away each month to maintain your current standard of living if you have a clear image of the entire costs associated with keeping your business operating well. With the help of these calculations, you can determine when the right moment will be for you to retire and move into retirement more smoothly. This practice will not only benefit your retirement, but will also enhance your financial situation. After all, the quickest way to ensure that your money is being allocated appropriately is to be aware of where it is being spent. Don't you agree? Number 2, how long do you think you'll live? The only thing we can do is learn to accept the reality that death is a given and go on with our lives. Suppose you don't take into account how long you anticipate living. In that case, you risk failing to adequately prepare for your future and finding yourself in a position where you cannot meet your financial obligations. Anxiety is one of the few things that may cause mortality in older people. So once you reach retirement age, you must learn to slow down and relax. And the only way to do this is via careful preparation. If you can get an idea of how long you may expect to live, you will be better able to decide when the right moment is to start collecting Social Security benefits that can only be revoked after a comprehensive review of your history, your health, and how you now live your life. This seeming little income flow is vital to your prospects of surviving throughout your retirement years. We are doomed since we lack cash flow or investment initiatives. Therefore, you should get a head start on your planning. Number 3, where can I even begin to fill all of this spare time? When we spend each waking moment of our lives working and stressing out about work, we want moments when we are not so busy, when it is the only option we have. However, we find that our enthusiasm for it decreases. After then, you will no longer have a job that requires you to be there between 9 and 5. It would be best if you thought about what kinds of things you'd want to accomplish in your spare time. Think about the things you do on the weekends, your days off, and during the holidays to obtain a clearer sense of the situation. Do you often engage in daring outdoor pursuits, or do you prefer to remain cooped up indoors? If you are the kind of person who usually has a trip scheduled for the holidays, maybe you should consider exploring the globe once you have retired. It seems that you already like it, and continuing to do so can help you forget that you have nothing else to do. On the other hand, if you are more of a homebody who enjoys the coziness of your own home, why don't you help you discover a pastime that you can participate in, like gardening, knitting, writing, or painting? All of these things are not strictly necessary to communicate with other individuals. You can even wind up shocking yourself with your skills in participating in these hobbies. On the bright side, you don't have to worry about how well you do it, which is a welcome relief. You have more than 30 years to become an expert in your field. Number 4, are you putting away enough money? Save, save, and save. A platitude is used quite often and is essential in every way. And in this particular instance, the pillar that supports your retirement strategy. Professionals have developed numerous rules of thumb on the appropriate portion of one's salary to set aside for savings. Some people have attempted to simplify it by reducing it to the percentage based on age. it is not difficult to set a modest savings target for oneself and then gradually increase that amount over time. Make the most of the many opportunities to save for retirement available to you. You shouldn't limit yourself, and you should sign up for the IRA, the 401k, and the security fund. Always remember that your funds ought to be sufficient to maintain your current standard of living after you've reached retirement age. Doesn't that seem like a lot of work to complete the math? Put another way, say you anticipate spending around $120,000 a year. If you want to continue living at that level once you retire, you'll need to have more than $3 million stashed away in savings. You would get that if you follow the rule of thumb of 4%. Number 5, are you planning to move closer to your family? You were lured away from the suburbs' quiet and into the city's commotion by the activity of life, away from the comforts of home, including friends and relatives. This will soon be a thing of the past since it was the primary motivation for your relocation hundreds of miles away. It is of the utmost importance that you give some serious consideration to the prospect of relocating to your hometown. You won't just be able to escape the noise, but you'll also be able to breathe some clean air simultaneously. You may entertain your grandchildren by setting up a farm for them to visit. Get back in touch with your old high school pals, many of whom are either already retired or are in the process of winding down their careers. You could even form a club to have some companionship while navigating this new period of your life. You would have the backing of a family that would, without a doubt, be there for you whenever you needed assistance. The camaraderie will make a move easier, and you'll have no trouble fitting in with the group. On the other hand, if you are the kind of free-spirited individual whose relatives live in different parts of the globe, this may not apply to you. If this is the case, there is no reason for you to feel coerced into moving back to a location you are sure you have lost contact with. It is highly recommended that you relocate to a different city so that you may redefine who you are and lead a life that is distinct from the one you are now showing. Number 6, would it bother you to downsize a bit? In her book, Lighter Living, Lisa J. Schultz presents a sentimentalized view of the practice of downsizing. To go one step further, one may compare the experience of shrinking to the hunt for the perfect pair of jeans that fits just perfectly. The act of downsizing allows one to keep just the belongings essential to their daily life. It removes a significant amount of the clutter and makes it much simpler to move about the home. There is a lower probability that you will mediate through heaps of paper so that you may share this moment with your grandchildren and make them feel special. In addition, if the conditions are reasonable, you may be able to purchase the ideal house for a family at a discount, which will allow you to make new memories with your partner and your children. While we are reducing the size of your house, you must remember to cancel your subscription to those many magazine issues. You might quickly save a substantial amount of money using these straightforward strategies, which would be helpful to you throughout retirement. Number 7, have you given any thought to launching your own company? You have a long list of tasks on your to-do list, and each of them has the potential to become a successful enterprise on its own. If you're acquainted with TikTok, you've undoubtedly already seen this video going through the app's community. After experimenting with several home treatments that he invented and tried out on his daughter, a retired man decided to look for a cure for baldness in the hopes that it would help him heal his daughter's hair problems. He could locate one that fulfilled all of their needs, and he gave it to their kid, who used the chance to persuade them to launch their own company. Every morning, continuing was an exhilarating and daring experience. There are instances when the beginning of retirement marks the beginning of life. This is a game in which there are no victors and no losers. Keeping this in mind, investigate the options available to you, or at the very least, consider the idea of filling your time with beneficial pursuits. This may turn out to be a game changer. Number 8, do you have a preference for a leisurely or active retirement? The prospect of having endless amounts of time on one's hands after retirement is, without question, a terrifying aspect of retirement. The urge to have purpose and to feel that one is needed. Because at some point in time, we stop stopped caring about our mission and began to have an unhealthy connection with our work. They become the cause for our continued existence and the reason we experience what it is like to be alive. Likely, you would not feel fulfilled in life if you did not have a profession, and since our life's purposes have become inextricably linked to our work. If this is the case, the best course of action for you would be to ease into retirement. You have the benefit of still having a real job to go to while you test the waters of your potential new career. You won't have to put up with the mental anguish that way. As long as you have a strategy in place, you can free up more time for your personal life, provided that your manager is aware of your intentions. On the other hand, if you like jumping, now is the most significant time to do it since the air is relatively clear, and make the most of every second of your golden years if you've previously answered all of the other questions on our list. Number 9, how do you plan to provide for your family's medical needs? Why don't we speak about the subject that everyone is avoiding? In your retirement, what specific plans do you have to take care of your health care needs? Because the company's insurance has provided you with medical coverage for a significant portion of your life, you have the opportunity to sign up for Medicare and benefit from it. This ought to pay for most of your medical expenses when they arise. In addition, you should consider signing up for a health savings account, HSA, or investing in long-term care insurance. These will lessen the number of occasions you have to pay for necessary medical expenses out of your funds. I hope you liked and learned something from today's video. If you want to keep improving and being inspired, subscribe and press the bell button to be alerted whenever we upload a video. This has been Market Profits Institute.